Una puta solo?
Yes, Greedo. As a matter of fact, I was just going to see your boss. Tell Jabba that I've got his money.
Song pichale. Imaratam tinach magichisa. Jabba wa ninki ko babushani kaitani wanyaruska. Chaskiñawi uchusu.
Yeah, but this time I've got the money.
Erichaya kulka inti kuninkusua.
I don't have it with me. Tell Jabba.
Namahari tiktik. Songurulye puyanya urwan spastika kushunku ponomatripi.
Even I get boarded sometimes. Do you think I had a choice?
Club Jabba. Bukpa. Kupakni at apampa.
Over my dead body.
Uchle Numa. Chespokututa Krista Krenko. Ya Oscar.
Yes, I bet you have.
Blue.
Sorry about the mess.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Judd.
Welcome back to Part Time. I know it's been a couple of weeks since we finished out Halloween in October.
That's true. Well, we've been busy. I had a friend get married and a couple other stuff.
Yeah, we just, and we also pumped out so many videos that month that we just had a little break.
Yeah, a little fatigued, you know.
We decided to come back with Star Wars because December 18th is when The Force Awakens comes out, so we wanted to review the 3 Star Wars movies. We're really excited. They're making a 4th Star Wars movie finally.
That's true.
So, so this is our synopsis for Star Wars: A New Hope. Star Wars is a 1977 movie directed by George Lucas and starring Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, Harrison Ford as Han Solo, Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia Organa, Sir Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and David Prowse with the voice of James Earl Jones as Darth Vader. When 2 droids arrive on Tatooine and are purchased by Luke and his uncle, Luke is pulled into an adventure that leads him to save a princess and destroy a space station as he begins to learn the ways of the Force. Of course, I kid, we know that there are 3 prequel movies, and although there are things to hate about them, I'll say
A lot of things.
There's a lot to hate about them. There are some things about them that were enjoyable to watch through, but they're not.
Yeah, I mean, I quite enjoyed the pod racing sequence from Episode 1.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good action sequence.
I liked the Obi-Wan fight with Anakin and Revenge of the Sith.
That was good too. But the
Darth Maul was a cool-looking villain.
He was.
I mean, there was some things, but overall, they were definitely a disappointment. I think The Force Awakens is...
Yeah.
I have hopes for The Force Awakens.
It's true. I do too.
But we'll see. It's yet to come, and we are going to plan to do a review on that when it does come out. We will be seeing that.
Yeah, we'll probably just film it in the car or something after we get done, and just it'll be pretty. I guess it could be real.
Or after we get back to the house,
or after
one
we
way
get
or
back,
the other.
one way or the other. It'll probably be much more spur of the moment type. First impressions type deal. It wouldn't be a sit down interview like this, you know.
But anyway, for this review, we watched this DVD version. Now, I'm very glad I got these. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is the only version on DVD that came out that has the special. It's a special edition on DVD, but the bonus features disc has the theatrical edition on DVD, and I think this is the only theatrical release on DVD.
I believe so. That's the only reason I bought these versions, because I had bought the initial version of when they first came out on DVD. I bought those and it came in a box set, you know. But it was only the special editions. I didn't know that at the time. And then they brought these out, and I'm like, well, I wanted to have the theatrical versions of the releases, you know. So I went out and I rebought Star Wars, like I'm sure many other people did, as it's a continuous cash cow for what was George Lucas, now Disney.
It's a shame as I got rid of all my VHS tapes as I started collecting DVDs.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky this got released because otherwise I would not have theatrical versions of Star Wars. Or I could probably find the VHSs online or something and buy them, but I wouldn't have them. I've never watched the special edition DVD that's on here, and if I'm not mistaken, it's the one that has Hayden Christensen on the Return of the Jedi one. It has
on Return of the Jedi,
Hayden Christensen put in at the end
Yeah.
instead of can't remember the name of the actor who played
originally,
Anakin
one of the
originally.
3 actors who played.
That bothers me. I think that's the thing that bothers me the most about that.
Oh yeah, definitely, without question.
There's a lot of things I hate about the special edition of Return of the Jedi, but I remember going to theaters to watch these in the 90s before the prequels came out.
Yeah.
And they released all these, and I was excited to watch Star Wars in theaters, and it was exciting to watch them, but they were they'd done we've added all this stuff we wanted to add and these special features.
Initially, it wasn't that bad, but
And it wasn't.
They've been revised
As time goes on, they've been adding more and more,
Yeah.
and they still in Return of the Jedi changed the Ewok song, and they added that horrific song in Jabba's palace.
Yeah, that was.
And
terrible.
I hated that in Return of the Jedi, but they didn't take that actor out until this came out.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've never watched these 3 movies special edition, and I still haven't. One day I might, just to watch them and compare, but for these reviews that we're doing leading up to the new movie, we are watching them in their original theatrical form, which is the best form.
Yeah, definitely.
And I do hope that Disney will one day release on Blu-ray the theatrical versions.
I'm still holding out. I haven't bought Star Wars on Blu-ray simply because I'm waiting for this huge Disney's already re-released the Star Wars saga on Blu-ray, and they haven't had the theatrical releases. But Disney sees money written all over this franchise. That's why they paid $4 billion for it.
Yes.
So it would make sense to sell it. You know, there's a clear demand for it, and I know that Disney's eventually one day just going to release a super special edition where they're theatrical and
the special
edition. I mean, it just makes too much sense. Disney loves money too much not to do that. I mean,
so if you're watching, I can't imagine you haven't seen Star Wars. I've met people, though, that haven't, so you may not have seen Star Wars. If you haven't, go watch it. Don't watch this review and spoil yourself first, because we will be spoiling things.
We will spoil everything about this movie that came out 30-plus years ago.
Yes.
But I don't know if I've ever met anybody who hasn't seen Star Wars.
I have.
You have?
Yes. I met somebody when I started working at Shepherd where I am now that I let borrow these because they'd never seen Star Wars. Yes. And she only watched like the first one.
Oh.
Anyway.
Okay.
It's so Star Wars, of course, is the story that brought us the Jedi and Tatooine and the Force and Darth Vader and all the things associated with it. And since I was a kid, I have been in love with these movies. The top movies in my mind, just my favorite things. I remember having a lightsaber toy when I was a kid, and and I mean the ones from the early '80s that were like crappy looking, didn't actually look like the lightsaber at all.
Yeah, I always used to pretend flashlights were lightsabers.
Yeah,
like I always had fun doing that, but
But this is a story about Luke Skywalker, who is just this boy on the desert planet of Tatooine.
Yeah,
and
he
lives with his aunt and uncle.
Moisture farmer. So I mean,
and the princess Leia is kidnapped at the beginning of the movie by Darth Vader, but has sent a droid with a message for Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the droids land on Tatooine to deliver this message. They are taken in by the Jawas.
Yeah.
They just happen by coincidence to be sold to the Skywalkers. It's pretty coincidental,
Yeah.
but
Convenience sake.
if you look at the fact that there is this force that binds everything together,
Produced by
that-
midi-chlorians.
well,
in
no,
the
there's no
cells
such
of-
thing as midi-chlorians. If you look at it as this force that binds things together, then maybe it's the force that kind of pushed these events to happen, especially since Leia does have the force, because she is Luke's sister. Spoilers, we'll find that out later.
Yeah, we find out in part 3. or
But
2.
somehow these siblings that never met each other she has sent these robots, these droids,
Yeah.
to him, of all people. And
You're right, that is a heck of a coincidence.
I never really thought about it till just a few minutes ago before starting this review. It's really coincidental.
It's like they had that cruise ship the blockade ship that Princess Leia's on just happens to be flying past Tatooine when it's getting pulled in by this Star Destroyer.
Yes.
So, just so happens to be the planet that her brother's on, out of the possibly thousands of planets in this galaxy. But hey,
Well,
you know.
it's also where Obi-Wan is, and Obi-Wan's on that planet because Luke is there. So
Now that's true. She
so-
was probably going. She was going to probably give these droids to Obi-Wan.
yeah, she was sending him to Obi-Wan. But of all the people on that planet for the droids to run across first, it's Luke.
Yeah,
That's really coincidental. But like I said, the Force.
the Force.
Because at this time, the Force was this spiritual thing, so it very well could have something to do with that. So anyway, R2 goes off on his own. Basically, the droids R2 gets the message to Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
We know, and Obi-Wan senses the Force in Luke and tells him about his father. They fought together in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Gives Luke his dad's lightsaber. And
Luke's aunt and uncle get killed by stormtroopers because they were looking for the droids, but the droids weren't with his aunt and uncle. He was, of course, they were with Luke.
so
going to
now
Obi-Wan.
Luke has no one to stay there for, so he leaves with Obi-Wan and the droids to Mos Eisley.
To learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like his father.
Right. And they go to Mos Eisley to find somebody with a ship to take them off Tatooine
To Alderaan.
To Alderaan.
Yeah, because that's where the Resistance is. That they need to take
Right.
the droids.
That's what the message was for.
Yeah.
So
And they happen across Han Solo and his faithful co-pilot Chewbacca.
and they agree to fly them to Alderaan.
Yeah.
And
And Greedo does not shoot first.
yes, not in this, because
Not
this
in
is,
this.
like I said, theatrical version. Han shoots Greedo. Greedo's trying to get money from Han that is owed to Jabba the Hutt.
Yep.
And Han kills Greedo. And Han, the stormtroopers are after the droids. They're on the planet. They chase. There's a chase sequence going on at the end for them to get on the Millennium Falcon because stormtroopers are trying to catch them.
Yep.
And they escape in the Millennium Falcon. Meanwhile, Darth Vader's trying to find out where the Rebel base is from Leia,
Yeah.
and they, I guess Grand Moff Tarkin decides to threaten her with the destruction of Alderaan
Yeah.
if she doesn't tell him. So she tells him, and he blows up Alderaan anyway.
Yeah.
But of course, the location she told him was a false location. It
Yeah.
wasn't where they actually were. It wasn't Yavin 4. Was it 4? Yavin 4.
Yavin 4 is where the Rebel base is.
Yeah,
And
but, I mean, she
said-
tells him a
she
different
tells him
one, but-
Tatooine, I think. Or she says Dantooine.
Dantooine, not
Dantooine.
Tatooine.
I don't know if that's a
Dantooine.
different...
Yeah, it's a different
It's a
planet.
different planet, okay.
But it's not Dantooine. So the actual base is on Yavin 4. But even if she had told them the correct answer, they would have blown up Alderaan anyway.
That's true. They were closest to Alderaan.
While they're flying in space on the Millennium Falcon, Luke is training with a little droid with a lightsaber.
Yeah.
This is when, I believe this is when Obi-Wan senses the disturbance in the Force because everybody on Alderaan died.
Yeah.
And the planet was destroyed by the Death Star. because they actually reach the location where Alderaan should be, but there's nothing there. Then they find a TIE fighter. They get dragged into the Death Star.
Yeah, that's no moon. It's
Yeah.
a space station.
While they're on the Death Star, they hide out in the compartments on the Millennium Falcon, and they steal a couple of Stormtrooper uniforms while they're there. And Luke and Han use those to infiltrate. Obi-Wan does not. He just does it on his own because he's a Jedi.
Well, he's Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
He runs through there like a boss and turns down the grappling hook.
Yeah.
No, not good.
Grappling hook. He shuts down
The tractor beam.
the tractor beam
Tractor
so they can escape.
grappling.
Meanwhile, they find Leia and rescue her.
Yep.
And after a short little trip through the garbage compactor, a lot of stormtroopers dying and a lot of gunfights with that going on.
Yeah.
Luke is not really mastered his lightsaber. I mean, he doesn't really fight with a lightsaber in this movie.
No, it's mainly a blaster.
But he does train with a lightsaber, but he doesn't fight with it. But we do see a lightsaber fight between Obi-Wan and Vader.
Yeah.
While they're escaping the Millennium Falcon, and Obi-Wan just kind of gives up and lets Vader kill him because he'll become more powerful. But the thing is, this is the. I mean, it's not bad, but it's the lamest lightsaber fight.
If you had to gauge every lightsaber fight in franchise history, you'd have to gauge this as like the worst because and it really wasn't meant to be an epic spectacular of swordsmanship.
Yeah.
It wasn't meant to be like it was written as an older Jedi who his way, he's an old man.
Yeah.
So how believable is an old man, tearing it up fencing? It's not really that believable. Plus the fact, I'm not going to say Darth Vader was old, but he's robotic. He's not physically capable of like a high.
I think it could have been
stakes.
faster, but at the same, I think it was slower because of probably the reason it was done slower like that is probably because of the technology they were using at the time for it.
That too.
Because this is the first Star Wars. This is the
yeah.
first time they were doing the lightsaber.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I think that probably had a lot to do with it.
And also, not to go off on a tangent, but it's the way the scene is written. It's much more.
There's a lot of talking going on.
There's a lot of
and
talking,
stuff,
so it's sort of giving you a backstory about their relationship. I say backstory. You're invested more in
these two characters.
As characters in a dynamic between them two, more so than lightsaber action.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually probably a more a stronger storytelling device than a lot of the other lightsaber battles, well, especially with the prequel series. I mean, they're much more.
They're so flashy. My
It's-
favorite lightsaber fight comes in Return of the Jedi. That's my absolute favorite.
That was well choreographed, and it actually tells a tale.
Oh gosh, I mean,
it's a very emotional lightsaber.
And I'll get into that when we get to that movie, really.
Yeah,
but
but,
Empire's is good too. But
Empire's is good too, but this one, I think they were focusing a lot on the emotional aspects between the two characters more so. I think that was more of an important to the movie makers than how elaborate the swings of the lightsabers were.
The original trilogy, all the lightsaber fights seem a lot more real to me than the prequel ones. There's so much jumping, and I mean, it's flashy and stuff, but the prequel ones get so
over the top, really.
Yeah,
I mean, it's almost
especially with
comical.
Yoda when Yoda is jumping around. I mean, I don't mind that Yoda can use a lightsaber. He's a Jedi.
Yeah.
He should have a lightsaber, but
I mean,
the
he's
way
all
they had him
running on the walls, hopping around
Yeah.
like a Mexican jumping bean or something. I don't know. Like it's crazy.
But anyway, yeah. So
These lightsabers, these lightsaber battles almost weave a tale as they're playing out, whereas the prequel series is almost like a laser show of sorts. I mean, it's really it's spectacular. These high flying stuff. But this one, the original series I like better, obviously, because it's better made. But I mean, it's the lightsaber battles. You're more emotionally vested in them.
I agree. So Obi-Wan dies, and but the rest of them escape
Yep.
in the Millennium Falcon, and they go to Yavin 4, and Luke is already a pilot of sorts when he's on Tatooine. He can fly.
He can already fly. I mean, I don't know about spaceships, but like they have sort of land speeders and hovercrafts of sorts. You know, he said he's the
flies.
bullseye.
Yeah, he can.
operates.
Yeah, but he can fly. He's a good pilot, and
Yeah.
he gets it from his father.
Yeah.
But he's definitely adept at that, and he becomes an X-wing pilot for the mission to attack the Death Star, and his buddy Biggs, who had a lot of his scenes cut,
Yeah.
is one of the pilots, and he dies in the battle at the Death Star. We also meet Wedge Antilles.
I was about to say, Wedge is the one who gets his X-wing damaged, and he
leaves.
He
And he
leaves.
survives for more movies. The X-wings and Y-wings go to attack the Death Star,
Yeah.
and there's this exhaust port on the Death Star, and this is the only weak point on the entire space station. This big round space station that looks like a moon if you haven't seen Star Wars and decided to watch this anyway. So it's in this little trench that runs along the Death Star, and it's one of the most iconic scenes in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Any video game based on Star Wars where you fly a ship, you play a level like this.
Yes.
Every single one.
Yeah. In some
And,
way, shape, or form, you're flying this trench.
And it's always fun to do, I think. I
Yeah.
love doing it.
And a lot of people like to say, "Oh, why do they have to fly the whole trench? You know, why can't they just fly down into where they need to go?" It's like, well, it's true, but at the same time, it's a good chase scene. It's a very like I say emotional. I might use that word too much, but
There
like,
might be a reason, and I
it's-
don't know. They may have explained it, and I wasn't paying attention.
I guess
there
I
might
guess
be
they
an
feel
explanation for
an
it.
overhead assault would allow the TIE fighters to engage in
Well,
the
they
air
had all the
while flying.
guns on top
Yeah.
too. That would probably hit them easier.
But
It's probably
even still, like
more covert to go
more-
through the trench.
Yeah, but that's true. It could be more covert, but at the very least, it adds runtime to the movie.
Yeah.
And it's a very
It's exciting.
It's exciting. It's a very exciting. There's really no point that you're like, well, they should have just flown to the end. It's like, I mean, some people might have thought that clearly, but I never did. I'm just enjoying what's going on. It's well filmed, well acted. I mean, it's
So
I never have a problem with it.
So yeah, there's a couple of attack runs attempted on this trench.
Yeah,
and everybody that goes on them dies, and Darth Vader gets out his X-wing. And which is not, I mean, his TIE fighter.
His TIE fighter,
His,
which is like a prototype,
it's not-
almost.
I'm trying to remember what
It's a deep space. It can go deep space.
it can be. It can be away from the space station. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
he can
TIE
actually
fighters. There's TIE
hybrid them.
interceptors. His is a TIE. I can't remember all the names anymore. There's
Yeah.
TIE bombers. His
I
is a
think
TIE.
his-
His is special. It's only his.
Yeah, it's only his.
It might just be called Darth Vader's TIE fighter for all I know.
Yeah, it might
It's
be.
just-
Like
it's
it
special.
It has hyperdrives on it, doesn't it? I think it does.
Yeah, anyway.
I think
But yeah, so Darth Vader, finally Luke goes on an attack run with, does he have Biggs and Wedge with him?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because that's when
Biggs dies and Wedge gets
has
shot
to
and has
fly
to
off.
leave.
Because this is basically down to Darth Vader and Luke.
Yeah, Luke, well there's one other, it's Luke, and Darth Vader and another TIE fighter in there. Because,
That's right. Because
okay, because Han shoots, or no, are there two TIE fighters? Han shoots one of them, the other TIE fighter swerves and hits
that's
Darth
right.
Vader.
It starts swirling. It banks off, kills the other one, hits Darth Vader, and does. Anywho,
Luke's still alive.
Luke's
at the
still
point,
alive,
and he's got his targeting computer
yeah.
on. He hears Obi-Wan's voice telling him to turn off his targeting computer,
and use the
which
Force.
everybody else has used their targeting computer and failed.
Yeah.
And tells him to use the Force, and so he closes his eyes and focuses and everything. He's coming up on the trench, and the space station is about to be in line where it can destroy Yavin 4.
Yeah.
Because it's like this
'Cause
time.
it has
there's
to
this time limit element to
Yeah.
this too.
Yeah. It has to rotate around the planet to get to the moon.
So they the music's just amazing in this whole movie too. This build up to this moment.
Oh yeah.
So Han Solo has decided he was leaving and not going to help out.
Yeah.
But then he decides to come back and
Comes
help
back,
at the last
and
minute.
that's who shoots the TIE
Yeah,
fighter.
he shoots
he
the
comes
TIE
back,
fighter.
swoops down at the last second, kills one TIE fighter, and interrupts Vader. Vader flies off into deep space. He's
He
like,
gets knocked out of the trench by the other TIE
Yeah.
fighter who swerves and kills himself.
yeah,
And Vader escapes to live another day while Luke shoots his
proton torpedoes.
torpedoes into the trench, and they go into the hole and blows up the Death
Causes
Star.
a chain reaction. Boom! Confetti flies everywhere. Not really, but
And Luke escapes, and everybody celebrates, and Luke and Han get medals.
Yep. And C-3PO and R2-D2 get polished up to like a mirror coat.
Yeah. And Chewbacca stands there and roars at the end.
Yep.
And that's Star
And
Wars.
they cut the credits.
But it's an amazing space, sci-fi, fantasy, epic, well, really, it's a space fantasy story, not really sci-fi per se, but that's why I love it so much. And
Yeah, it's probably the original Star Wars trilogy is probably my favorite. I mean, I consider it sci-fi, but
it's might be my favorite trilogy of all time.
yeah,
I just love these three movies so much.
it's one of the best. Like a lot of people fall into two categories. Like a lot of people, like there's a great debate over Star Wars or Star Trek. I like Star Trek very much. I've always preferred Star Wars over
I have
Star
too.
Trek.
I've always
I mean,
been more
that's-
about Star Wars. I
yeah.
like Star Trek. But
I do like Star Trek a lot, but like I've always been more of a Star Wars, and I think that's because of the lightsabers. Like when I was a kid,
I love lightsabers
I
so
always
much.
always wanted a lightsaber. That was like a dream of mine.
But
But yeah,
yeah, the I was gonna say, if you haven't seen Star Wars, please watch the
Yes.
theatrical cuts. See, George Lucas, this is the only one he directed,
yeah,
and it's good. And he's directed other good movies. American Graffiti's good. I mean, there's other movies that aren't Star Wars he's directed that are good.
yeah.
Somewhere along the line, before the prequels, I don't know if he just had more reign to do whatever he wanted during the prequels or what happened. He directed all three of the prequels.
Yeah, he might have been on drugs. I don't know.
But this was good. Empire's better. I think Empire's better than this. A lot of people, Empire Strikes Back is their favorite, and that's great. And I'm glad you have that opinion. Return of the Jedi is my personal favorite. But I definitely give Star Wars 5 out of 5 stars.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah, 5 out of 5 for me.
I recommend it. Watch this movie, please, and definitely watch all of them to prepare yourselves for the upcoming movie.
Yeah, if nothing else, you don't really have to watch the prequels to prepare yourself for Episode 7. Just watch 4, 5, and 6.
Yes, please watch 4, 5, and 6.
These are the only ones in my book that have any. These are the only ones that matter to me. That, like we said, the prequels have their parts, but I kind of take those with a grain of salt because with each revision of the special editions, they try to retcon stuff that they're throwing in the prequels. They're like, oh, we gotta fix this because we thought about putting this in Episode 3, so we gotta modify something about the original series again.
Right.
So, but just watch the original trilogy.
And thanks for joining us on Part Time for Star Wars. Empire will be coming soon, and so will Return of the Jedi, because we want to try to finish those before December, where we'll be getting into our Christmas movies.
Yeah, we will be churning out the Christmas hits. So
Yes.
we'll be jingling all the way.
All right. Thanks for joining us. Take care.
Watch your left. They went down the Selby.
Can't get out that way.
Looks like you managed to cut up our only escape route.
Maybe you'd like it back in your cell, Your Highness.